Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of Last Legs Parlays. I am Mike. This is Butch. As you can tell, our fearless leader's not here this week. He was so butthurt about getting killed in trivia last week. He didn't join us, right, Butch?
Yep, he couldn't take losing to me and not knowing a Notre Dame player quicker than me.
I mean, that to me, it was set up for him to have a layup with Notre Dame player, and you just flat out destroyed him.
He just stood there like a deer in the headlights and was like, oh, Notre Dame. It was too late.
Yeah, it was and then he tried to argue it on top of it. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the people knew. They said right away.
Oh, God. Shout out to Chris, though. He's obviously under the weather this week, so he's not going to be with us. Just for that, he gets up. But we move on. Let's go over last week's parlay. We had bunch of L's. Not great for us last week. Chris had Seton Hall plus 5.5. They lost by 7. I truly thought this was actually a decent pick. They were playing at home senior night. You know, they were playing at the Rock, but didn't really work out in their favor, unfortunately. But it is what it is, right? When we're looking at, there he is right here. Let's see. There he is. See, nice and sick, this kid. When we're looking at my pick, I had Hawaii minus 12. They hit it. It was great dub, late dub. You know me, love my late games. And then High Point. I mean, I think at one point they had it.
A minute 30 seconds. They're up 28 points. They're rolling, and they missed 4 straight. And I don't even know who was it that they played. Who they backdoor covered. It was.
I don't even remember, honestly.
Bull crap.
Yeah, it was. It was an up and down game. At one point, High Point was losing at one point in the game, and we were like, "No, it's halftime. We're good. Butch had all the faith, and then they went up 28 with that much time left, and we were all in the chat like, "Is this really going to cover? Are we going to be good?" And then it didn't.
But again, I still blame Peach because he agreed with me that High Point's a good team, and that look at they couldn't win by 25.5. The kiss of death just lives on.
I find it funny just because Chris he'll go with you, he'll ride with you, right? And I wonder when Wander's going to get in here, but he will literally ride with you over and over and over again, and then when things go wrong, he'll be like, "Oh no, I never bet that. That's wrong."
Terrible. Hated them my whole life.
Oh God. But let's get into this. Let's get into March Madness. A lot of things have happened so far with these conference tournaments. A lot of top, seeds, people that were supposed to win their championship, has not played out the way that we have thought. I think the committee is going to have a hard time on their hands. But let's start over in some of the smaller conferences, and let's start with the elephant in the room. Miami of Ohio, baby, lost to UMass today. Crazy game. What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it goes back to like what you said last week. If they have one loss, are you putting them in? Listen, you can say, hey, they had an undefeated season until now. They have that loss. What's the committee going to do? I mean, like you said, there was a bunch of upsets of schools that should have won and didn't. Well, Miami, Ohio is that elephant in the room. Let's face it. So I'm anxious to see what the committee's going to do. We know what the committee did for NCAA football. We know how they picked there. We know how it worked out too, Chris.
I think it's interesting too, because when we're going over it, right now Lunardi has them in the first buys, right? So that means that they'll play that. They'll play the first weekend. Auburn's the one that like I thought would have, if they would have beat Tennessee today, which they ended up not doing, I feel like they would have jumped. They would have jumped 2 spots from last out to first buy, which I'm surprised by. But I think we'll see what this committee does with this strength of schedule. That's going to be the biggest key to your point on how they really look at Miami of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that,
And you
because
look there's a lot of power schools a lot of power conferences that have a lot of schools. So at what point do you draw the line and say, hey, a team like my team, High Point, hey, you had a good season. I mean, I know they get in, but I mean, there's some other teams there that at what point do you just draw the line and say, hey, sorry?
I think it's a great question by Wander. Who we think is the biggest tiger, biggest paper tiger in the tournament? I think the biggest thing that we're going to see coming up is, like you said, those middle of the pack teams. Right, we're getting into the end of these conference tournaments. Who ends up winning? Right, we're heavily right now. I have them all in the quad box right now. Right now, Florida State's up on Duke. Right, what does that do if they end up winning? How does that shake out? Because Duke's gonna get in no matter what.
That's what it does.
You know what I mean? They'll get in no matter what. But now, if somebody like, let's just say Florida State ends up winning this game and wins the whole thing, they were on the bubble. Well, now they're getting in. Who do they take a spot from? Do they take that spot from Miami of Ohio?
I mean, that's one of those where you look at it like, hey, Miami, Ohio, you have one loss. Hey, Florida State, you beat Duke, number 1 overall seed. Hey, let's give it to them. Sorry, you're a mid-major.
And again, we'll get on the list here. I mean, there's a lot of teams. Navy lost, but Lehigh won the championship, right? We've been talking about Navy for 2 weeks now, right? They just had a crazy shot, buzzer beater to beat them, right? McNeese gets in over Stephen F. Austin. On the side chat, we've talked about Stephen F. Austin, right? We didn't bring him up in pod, but we've been talking about them. Hofstra, out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, coming up big in their conference. Portland State, another team that we've talked about in the chat, loses. Idaho wins.
Siena,
right? Like Central Arkansas, who we all thought was a lock out of the ASUN, loses to Queens University, who was what, D2 3 years ago? Yep. like these are, and again, shout out to our boy Hags who hates this.
This is March, Hags. This is March.
He hates when this happens, when it's not chalk. But we're at a point now where it's what happens with these teams that, like a Miami of Ohio, went 31-1, or they were supposed to win they were the favorite in their conference. Do they get in? Right? Unfortunately, like, I don't think Navy gets in. I don't think they have the strength schedule to get in. It sucks. Lehigh, by the way, Lehigh, hilarious that they were chanting at the end of the game, "We want Duke." Crazy. Don't know why you'd want that. But also another one that Chris had talked about, Belmont. Belmont lost. Northern Iowa won the division. So I think it's gonna, we talk about those mid majors, and I think looking at it so far, and this is another thing that we look at, right? Who has won in the Big East tournament, right? Providence beat Butler. They were an underdog. They got the crap beat out of them today by St. John's, but nobody expected that. Right now, BYU, 10 seed overall in the Big 12 with Houston, right? They're only down 1 point. How does that game end? We'll find out probably before the end of the pod, but there's a lot of games. Georgetown beat number 6 DePaul in the Big East tournament. Like, we're looking at these games, and I read something they were talking about. The impact of NIL is what's getting these teams to be less about, number 1's really going to win over number 16. It's kind of even playing field at that point, right? And I think that's what we can expect. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look at just the SEC. You have Ole Miss knocking off Texas. Just looking at it, Kentucky struggling with LSU. I hate to say it, Duke struggling with Florida State right now. There's a lot of teams, and I mean, you look at that ACC. You have NC State and Wake Forest. They're looking to get in the tournament. They're looking to secure the tournament. So they do well in the tournament. That's where I feel like a lot of those mid majors they're gonna be sitting on the outside.
And I think some Ole Miss right now is beating Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss wasn't even supposed to beat Texas.
15 rank.
Like, where is this? And again, it's the shout out to Hags. It's the beauty of March, right? We say it all the time. It's the little guys that are able to win when people think that they weren't supposed to.
Yep.
And as long as that keeps happening, I think that we will continue to see more high level players going to smaller schools.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. Basketball is a different sport than football.
Yep.
Football, you need to be at a big school. You can get away with going to Texas A&M or Texas Tech over Texas,
Mm-hmm.
right? And still being productive. But now you might get more looks at a High Point as a big pick compared to being the fifth option on Duke.
I mean, again, not for nothing, but look at BYU, freshman phenom. BYU hasn't, I mean, mistake me if I'm wrong, they haven't been relevant in NCAA basketball.
Not
and
since
now all
Jimmer.
of a sudden they got him, this freshman phenom who went to them. And now all of a sudden BYU's back on the map.
Yeah. There's our boy Hags right there. There he is.
This is March.
He knows how it is. He knows how it is. I think it's going to be interesting. And I think, we'll circle back with this at the end. Duke just took the lead. Shout out to Duke right now.
Stop.
We'll circle back with these games, at least these 4 games that we're watching currently, in a little bit, just to see where it's at. But let's move on to NFL, right? This free agency so far has been popping.
You have shady backdoor deals. You have shady doctors getting paid off. You got midgets like Murray getting a 1-year deal. Like, you got Romeo Dobbs, who doesn't deserve $70 million. I mean, maybe if you're going to pay $68 million for his helmet, that's 3 sizes the size of a stadium, maybe. But $70 million, come on. I'll get to that later.
Oh man, I think it's something to be said, and we'll start with the Max Crosby news, right? I think it's interesting that the verbiage that the Raiders used, right? They said that it's not about 26, it's about the future. Okay, so we're good with him playing 26, but we're not good with him playing 27 or 28. But we're going to go with Trey Henderson, who's older, and hope that he doesn't fall apart. Like, and I think somebody had mentioned this before on ESPN, and they said that it's straight buyer's remorse.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally just told their doctors, hey, because they had like 7 doctors look at this guy's knee.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe 6 out of the 7 had said it looks like what it's supposed to. And the 7th was like, "Oh, you might need to reevaluate this."
They knew it. He just got off crutches, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you still you knew that. You gave him, you put the trade up, you put your picks away. Like, that's like saying, hey, the highway's backlogged. It's not going to open up for 3 hours. And you're going, oh, okay. And then going on the highway and then getting pissed off. You knew his knee wasn't where it's not clean. It's not good. But he just had the surgery. He just got off crutches. Like, it's mind blowing. If I'm an exec, I'm not trading with Baltimore. I'm not doing it. Like, you just put egg on your face, and I hope nobody trades with you at all, because not only did you just tarnish your organization's name, but now if I'm another team that's interested in Crosby, I'm not giving the Raiders dirt. Hey, he failed a medical. Sorry. Hey, I'm not giving you 2 picks. I'll give you a 2nd round this year and a 3rd round next year. That's it. He failed a medical. Like, you just screwed the Raiders.
Because and that's the reason why I think today they kept on posting, oh, he's staying with the Raiders. They're not taking any trade calls. But I think to your point, right? Because Will busting with the boys, he was talking about this, and he had said, like, you just screwed over the Raiders, and you basically said, nah, he ain't worth the money. So no team's going to come at that value to jump. But also, they've done it before. They did it in 2018. Crabtree gets cut, and they said, "Oh, Ryan Grant, he's still hurt. We don't want him." So, like you have, and obviously different GMs, but ownership's still the same. So they've done this before. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where do you go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Right. To your point, like you said, how many people really want to do business with you? Like, and I'm with you. I don't know how many GMs are going to want to call you.
No.
Without being like, yo, bro, you just screw them. You better give me a great deal. Like, I need to be the one winning on the side.
You just lost your trust.
If you screw me, then that's it.
Yep, you lost your trust. You won't win another trade. You're going to have to eat terrible trades for a little bit just to regain the trust.
Yep.
But like I told you, I would love, I mean, as Packer fans like we are, we've talked about it. I would love for the Packers to sweep in and be like, hey, Raiders, we'll give you a good trade, but not a great one. And then you get Crosby at a good deal. Plus, he's pissed the hell off right now. Like I was out of the Raiders. I was going to a contender team. Now I'm not. Now you put out there that my knee is dog shit. So people don't want to pay me and give me a contract that I deserve. I would take a pissed off Crosby all day long from a meniscus surgery. There's 12-year-olds that are getting meniscus surgery and they're running in a month. Come on.
And I think it's up. The Raiders are making great moves this offseason so far. They've picked up a bunch of people. So getting Crosby back doesn't necessarily hurt them, but it doesn't help them with the cap space. Right. Mm-mm. So it's one of those where they have to eat it, but will there be another trade partner out there for them? I don't know. Right. Because they're not going to get back the value that they were getting before, like we had just mentioned. But does Crosby even want to leave at this point?
I think if the right team comes knocking. Yeah.
But I mean, let's go over some big moves. Alec Pierce re-signed with the Colts, 114 mil, 28.5. Jalen Phillips, right? So far, big winner of the offseason. 120 with 30 going to the Panthers. Shout out to our boy Kevin, Aiden. They're having a low-key great offseason so far.
Because they got that other edge rusher, didn't they?
Yeah, they got linebacker, Devin Lloyd.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? So they're making moves. I'm trying to think. Obviously, Trey Henderson went to the Raiders or the Ravens. And again, just to point out too, they should have waited a day.
Mm-hmm.
You make the announcement that the trade didn't go through, and then all of a sudden, the next morning, you're like, "Oh, by the way, we're getting Trey Henderson."
Yeah, there was like I was all over ESPN. Like, hey, if they get Hendrickson, you need to investigate them. And knowing that, the Ravens still went, "Hey, send the trade. We'll put it in." Like, sit back and wait. It was mind blowing.
I'm with Wander here. You know, the next season for NFL is definitely going to be weird. I 100% agree with him on this. And I agree with him that anything's possible next year. You know, the fact that Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl, and then they lose the Super Bowl MVP too, which I think that's the next biggest off-season acquisition is the fact that he goes to the Chiefs. Walker goes to the Chiefs, and I don't care what anybody says, that makes them 100 times better.
Mm-hmm.
Their leading rusher for the last 4 years is who? Do you know?
Me.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
That's, oh my God. Kermit the Frog is leading the rush.
Like, it's crazy. It's wild to think about it. I think a couple other good trades that, or, you know, whatever, good signings that happened. Mike Evans to the 49ers definitely helps them get another option. How he comes back off injury, we'll see. I think Bradley Chubb to the Bills, they definitely need it.
Shout out Mike.
Shout out Square Table Mike. We'll see what they end up doing with Joey Bosa, if they just let him go or if they try to re-sign him on a, you know, vet minimum. Another team that I'm liking too, that's doing well this offseason, low key, the Giants. Giants are doing some things. Tremont Edmonds Jermaine Elmond, and Isaiah Likely, like you just said, like those three right there. I mean, they changed the locker room, but I think Harbaugh, man,
Mhm.
Harbaugh's doing some things.
He should have. I would have liked to see it. And Kane and I talked about this. I'd like to see them get a slot receiver. You got to take some pressure off Neighbors. You get Isaiah Likely. That's good. You get your tight end. I respect that.
Which
If
they
they
already
if
have a
they
tight end, by the way.
yeah.
But you know the way he is. Harbaugh
Hmm.
likes 2 to 3 tight ends.
Yep. If you could get a Dobbs, if they could have got Dobbs as a slot with Neighbors, that would have been deadly.
Yeah. I
Um,
still think they probably go offense first
mhm.
round. I think they probably go O-line or they go some kind of weapon.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I also what do we think Cam Scadaboo's going to do? Coming back off an injury.
I mean, he's got a fullback that can block. Now Scadaboo's going to have 2 concussions this year instead of 9. Like he just added a year onto his
Oh,
playing career. He's good. I do like Pacheco to the Lions is intriguing. Very intriguing. You got rid of Montgomery and you brought in Pacheco. Don't know.
same
Kyler,
back, younger a little bit.
yeah, Kyler
That's the way I look
Murray
at
to
it.
the Vikings. I mean, at this point, the Vikings are just slipping sideways. Like you're not going forward. So that is what it is. Not worried about that as a Green Bay fan. He can't see over his line. I mean, the obviously the signing that everybody should be talking about is the fact that Geno Smith wasn't good for the Jets 10 years ago, and 10 years later, slower and worse. And they went, hey, now he looks good. Come back, come over here, and they traded for him. I just don't
Let's check in on
understand it.
Chris. Chris is commenting. Best signing of the all season right here. Yeah, he's out of his mind.
He wasn't
Oh
good for
man.
us 10 years ago, but now he is. Uh,
Yeah, I don't.
they got to truly be tanking for Arch. They have to.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I think that that's the only question, in my opinion, that they're doing that. A couple of Packer signings. We got St. Juiced.
Stop.
We're going to talk
Stop. We,
about him.
we didn't sign anybody. We didn't. You want to talk about
Him,
Packer signings? All right.
David Hargrove.
Malik Willis, bravo, going to the Dolphins. Got his payday. Love to see that.
I think I don't think he's going to be that good.
I don't either, but I just wanted to give the Dolphins something because I shit on the Jets.
I mean, shout out to Bardo. Bardo's going to be, Zane Gonzalez too. Way to get a kicker. Nice. But I mean, that's kind of all the big moves that they've made so far, Dolphins wise. It's a great question, Wander. Does Jordan Love improve, Butch,
Improve from what?
from last year?
I mean, other than holding the ball too long and not running when he should have, I mean, I don't really see what all the hate for him is. He still put up decent numbers. He still didn't really put the ball into the other
I mean,
team's hands.
top 10 numbers for the year for sure.
Like it's Jacobs was hurt off and on all year. We didn't really have a running game. Our line wasn't great. So everything got put on his shoulders. I mean, he played hurt. Listen, and believe me, I am a huge critic of quarterbacks when it comes to Green Bay, especially quarterbacks in general. I was a quarterback. I'm very hard on them. I don't think I'm not hitting the panic button on Jordan Love. Does he need to realize that he can make plays with his legs? Yes, he needs to. He needs to run with the ball. But we'll see. I mean, healthy Josh Jacobs, we'll see.
I think to your point too, I think it's going to be interesting to see what pieces they go after in this draft, right? We don't have a first round draft pick. So do we actually draft an offensive weapon in the second round? Do we draft defensively? Again, free agency has opened up and we haven't done anything. So we cleared out a bunch of cap space for what? Right.
I'll
So I
get to
think
that, Durant.
I feel like that's something that we need to like figure out quickly. But I mean, what else? Anything else you wanted to touch on with the NFL?
No, I mean, there's still some. I mean, there's a lot of trade talk. I mean, there's a lot of teams that reached out to Jalen Carter, even though I hate him. I think he's the dirtiest player in the NFL. He's
Mhm.
a younger version of Ndamukong Suh. With that being said, you can't deny his talent. A lot of teams have reached out to him. Tyreek Hill, I know his knee is in 19 pieces. Maybe he's the male version of Lindsey Vaughn and comes back and does something.
With 15 baby mamas.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you have Marlon Humphrey out there. You have the corner from Cleveland. There's still some
Ward.
decent names out there. Yeah, there's still some decent names out there. There's still a lot of trade talk. So we'll see.
What happens
I
to
mean,
AJ Brown? AJ Brown's still an Eagle right now.
who knows? I swear he's bipolar. Like one day he comes in and hates Jalen Hurts, hates Saquon, hates the coach. The next day he's like, I love all you guys, man. We're family. Like him and DK I put in the same category. Their talent is phenomenal. Their head is never screwed on straight, and they're a cancer in the locker room. When they can just play and do well and not cause a distraction, you can't deny who they are. You really can't. Yeah. But the second they open their mouth or start talking or don't get the ball or don't get the diva treatment, and they become a cancer.
Shout out to Brian on this trash talk right here. Thanks, Ruiz. We know that the Packers are better than the Giants, at least. Let's not go there. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but moving on. Let's get to F1. Big weekend over in Australia. I mean, what a race. I know I stayed up for the whole thing. Crazy. Oscar Piastri, home race. Doesn't even make it out of the gates.
McLaren sucks.
I mean, it wasn't even wet because I talked to my dad the next day, and we were talking about it. He's like, was the track wet? How did he end up crashing? And I said, I think he just took a turn too hard and just crashed out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Hulkenberg didn't even make it out of the pits either. So that was surprising. Another 3 cars DNF. Ezek Hajar didn't finish the 11th lap. Bottas didn't get 15. Alonso, which we knew with Aston Martin was going to have a problem, didn't get past 21. Now, with that being said, technically Lance Stroll didn't make it because they were 15 laps behind with how slow he was driving, and he finished in technically 17th, but they don't consider it anything. Aston Martin definitely has a big problem with this Honda issue and the shaking. What happens with their car? I think that out of anyone, all right, Wonder, nice, putting it back in theaters. F1, great movie. Everybody should go watch it, in my opinion. What they end up doing with the whole, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia races, potentially skipping them completely, that can only help everybody on the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's obviously more teams that need help more than others, but I think that with the rules and everything like that, we were talking about let's talk about the winner, right? Number 1, George Russell comes in first place. Kimi Antonelli comes in second. Mercedes. Then Ferrari, Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton third and fourth, respectively. Lando comes in fifth. Max comes in sixth. Give Max a lot of credit from literally coming back from starting in 20th.
20th to 6.
The one thing I will say that people aren't talking about, Mercedes already losing 1 battery pack when they're only supposed to use 2 for the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been brought up to the FIL and Formula One. What happens with it? Who knows what will be made of it? But it seems like a lot of teams are having issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? I
also don't understand how and why you would say, hey, you only get 2 batteries when this year they've shifted to so much electric driven in the car. You can't sit there and say, hey, you only get 2, because we have no idea how much battery these cars are going to burn, how much, cores they're going to go through. You're expecting a lot from these cars, and especially with that battery. So for them to put a limit on it, I don't think they should have put any kind of battery limit until they got this season done and out of the way. They could look at the
They
the
could judge you, yeah.
dimensions, the analytic, and see, hey, listen, 10, all right, but you go 11, like you're using way too much battery, like then go from there. But to say 2, like, come on, that's like saying, hey, you can only do pit stop once a race.
Right.
Like, you got to stop.
And especially to your point, the cars are built that way. It's half battery, half gas. So what do we do if we run out of gas? Oh, you're done? Like that's it?
Yeah. Yep.
like what are we doing? Obviously that is the case though when they run out of gas. But it's one of those where looking at it, I don't understand. China is going to be very interesting, right? China's this week, and we're going to touch on that in a second on the preview. But the question happens to your point of there's a dramatic difference between 1 and 7 right now, right? And we know that we knew that the 3 teams that are in the lead were going to be in the lead, but every team from 7 on was 1 lap plus behind all those cars.
Yep.
So either they figured it out quickly, or their cars are better, or they're just better drivers. I think it's a combination of all of it. But my takes for this week was Kimi coming back after having a really bad qualifying, having a really bad practice. Ferrari seems like they're back. I think they made a bad strategy call, which ended up costing them the race from the jump. Because they should have pitted when the first hazard came out and they didn't. McLaren looks slow. I'm going to say it. Their car looks slow. If Max didn't start in 20th, Max probably would have won the race. And I say that loosely just because George ran a really good race.
And you hate Max.
That as well. But shout out to Ollie Berman, man. Nobody would have expected Haas to come in 7th.
Or Arvid Lindvald, rookie debut in Red Bull Racing, gets 8th. Like, you're a rookie and you score points.
I mean, Esteban Ocon, 11th. Everybody was talking about, the American team, Cadillac, everything. People forget Haas is the American team.
Yep.
They're saying, come chase us.
Yep.
I will say this, and they were on my fantasy team this week. Carlos Sainz, very, very, very disappointed with him. He had a great preseason, and he shit the bed.
Not going to point out who dominated in that fantasy league, but it rhymes with me.
Yeah. Now, let's get into the preview for this week. What are you expecting? What are you expecting out of China? What do you think is going to happen? What are you expecting? Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I mean, fantasy-wise, I got a Red Bull-driven team, but I also have my normal team. Mercedes and Ferrari is just, I feel like they just separated themselves. To your point, if Ferrari pits when they should have, I think we're talking about them being 1-2 and Mercedes being 3-4. But also, you throw the curveball in there of Max. I mean, 14 positions. That car was moving. I mean, he's a good racer. It doesn't matter what car you put him in. He's going to make a move. I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first sprint too. Yep. So that's going to give him a lot. So the more time that these guys have in that car, the more, analytics that they get back, the more numbers they get back and see how the car's reacting, the better it's going to be. So, that last week they had the practice, they had the qualifying and then the race. Well, this week now we got a sprint in there. So now we're seeing how these cars are reacting when they're actually racing. I look forward to see if Mercedes can keep going. I like Kimi. He's a young kid. I like to see him do well. I mean, look at last year. He didn't even have his driver's license for the first race, but he's trusted to drive a $5 million Formula One car. Holy crap. I'm going to be interested to see if Mercedes can keep it going. I mean, Toto, you've seen the meme, everybody is Toto just looking at the camera and smirking. I mean, he called it. He said they had a lot. So we'll see. I like Hadjar with Red Bull. I think they can do something. Looking at the constructor standings already, you got Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, and then Haas, number 5. Red Bull Racing or Racing Bulls 6, Audi 7, Alpine 8. We'll see.
My prediction is I think Max wins the sprint. That's definitely my prediction. Just because I think he's going to come out like a bat out of hell. Hopefully, he does great in qualifying because that's obviously going to be the key to it. And I think Mercedes does it again, but I think one of them comes in first and one of them comes in fourth. They're going to sandwich Ferrari. I think Ferrari gets a double podium this weekend. But I mean, again, I think it's going to be interesting how they manage the tires, we'll see what happens. Shout out to Brian. He said, Toto is a bad word in Spanish. Yeah, the guy's name is Toto Wolf, so relax.
I think I could see Max winning the race. I could see. I'll go the opposite. I could see Max. I'll predict Max winning the race and Russell winning the sprint, or Hamilton winning the sprint. I could see Hamilton.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
I thoroughly will enjoy if McLaren does not podium again, because I just can't stand the look of him. I can't stand Norris's face. Can't stand Zach Brown either.
That's coming. I was going to say Zach Brown more than Lando. I actually do. I really appreciate Lando, in my opinion.
Screw him.
But I truly loathe Zach Brown.
Lando is that party frat boy that you walk into the frat house, you punch in the face, you grab your drink, and you leave. I just hate him. He's got such a punchable face.
See, I think Piastri is that kid.
No.
Yes.
Oscar deserves
100%.
it. Oscar deserves 100%. Lando's that kid that grabs his kickball and cries when you don't pick him first and walks away and goes tell
I'll agree with you on that. That for sure. That deserves one of these. That definitely deserves one of these. I like that. I'm all right. Now, with that being said, last part of F1. We didn't talk about it last week because Chris forgot. But give me a bold prediction for 2026. Now that we've seen one race, give me one bold prediction and give me one transfer. We're going to say a transfer, which means a racer leaving their team. Give me a bold prediction and give me a transfer.
I think Alonso leaves his team because he's just tired of it, and I think physically he's not going to be able to do it. If Aston Martin does not fix that car with Alonso being up in age, he's got to walk away. You can't physically do that to your body. You really can't. Bold prediction. Oh boy. I don't think McLaren is top 3 in the constructors.
Okay.
My bold prediction on that is Haas finishes above them.
Wow. Okay. That's spicy. Okay.
Yep.
I think that my bold prediction is that Ferrari will win constructors. And I think Mercedes, I'm not going to say which one, but I think Mercedes will win the driver. Most likely George, but who knows? Duke survived, by the way. 79-80.
Never doubted it.
That kid just missed a 3 at the end of the game. They should have won, but whatever. And then my bold prediction on transfer is that Max will be the next driver of Aston Martin. I think he goes back with Newey. They get back together. I truly think this is all a ploy. I think that they have issues with Honda, but I feel like it's just they want to get rid of Lance Stroll needs to not be in a seat. That's number one.
His dad needs to give up ownership.
100%. I think I truly think that that's number one, right? I think that Lance won't be in a seat, or Alonso's just going to get beat up this year and he's going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not see Max staying as a Red Bull driver.
See, I was going to go the opposite. I think Max gets his fifth, one for the thumb. He gets his fifth and walks away from Formula One and goes to race all the other avenues that he wants to. If they're not going to change this car, he's come out and said it. He does not like this car. He doesn't like the relying on the battery. Like when you're going down a straight stretch and you're losing power because you're out of battery, like that's not racing to him. Max is balls to the wall, flat out, jamming on the brake and putting everything in the driver. And I think he goes and proves, hey, I'm still the best. And he walks away and he goes and races his high class Mercedes and does his road races. I think he walks away. He goes out on top.
It's something we'll definitely keep an eye on going into this weekend. But 2 races this weekend for Formula One. We'll definitely talk about it next week. Moving on over to soccer.
Before we move on, they're at great times. I mean, the free practice is at 11:30 tomorrow night. Then sprint qualifying is at 3:30 in the morning for all you insomniacs. Then the race, you should all be up for this. 3 in the morning. Set your alarm, wake up, watch the race, take your nap later, but it's fine.
On Apple TV, though, you'll be able to watch it after whenever you wake up.
Yeah.
So moving on to soccer. Bad weekend for the Red Bulls. We're not going to sit here and justify anything. They got their butts kicked 3-0. I was at the game with the fam. Great atmosphere, but man, what a bad game. Just a bad game, dude. Nothing we can literally talk about. There's nothing. I think that it just showed that the younger kids' strategy is better than the older, period. Like, hard stop. What are your thoughts?
Like you and I talked in the text, like when we went down 1-0, I said, I want to see how these young kids react. I want to see, like I talked about in the, Indiana, Miami game. I want to see how they react when they get punched in the mouth. And I don't want to say they reacted poorly, but it wasn't great. Losing 3-0. It was a good wake-up call. I think Bradley, when you look at it, Bradley 2-0. The young kids are scoring. Julian Hall's got, 3 goals in 2 games. Like, they're riding that high thinking they're untouchable. And a garbage team like Montreal came in. Our old boy, Wilkie Carmona, made us look like a fool.
I think it's definitely a revenge game for Wiki, and I think
100%.
That's
but it was just
not going to change.
It was poor play all around. I mean, you look at that third goal.
Oh, man.
First of all, Horvath, what are you doing? Just clear it out, kick it out of bounds. But instead, you kick it 10 feet in front of you, and then he tries to get the call of Wiki came through his back. No, he just got the ball from you and scored. Yeah, you should never do that as a goalie. It was piss poor play all over the pitch. It was just, hopefully the rebound this week. But we'll see. We move on from there, and it is what it is. It's a young team. We're gonna, like you and I also said, we're gonna experience growing pains starting this many young kids. With that being said, though, being a hard ass like I am, you shouldn't experience growing pains against the worst team in the MLS. Those are the teams that you win 5-0, and you experience growing pains against a team that you're just a little bit better than. You slip up here and there, but the teams you're supposed to dominate, you need to dominate.
I think
points will kick us later on,
especially because when we're looking at the top 4, right? Top 4 teams haven't changed in the power rankings. LAFC won 1-0. Inter Miami won 2-1 at DC. Vancouver won 4-1. These Vancouver scoring goals like nobody business, and that's scary, right? San Diego FC won 1-0. Obviously, we were in 5th. We dropped down to 10th. We'll get into that in a second. Nashville moves up 1 spot. 3-1 win. San Jose moves up 1 spot. 1-0 win at Philly. Tough place to play. So great win from them, coming West Coast to East Coast and winning that out. NYFC beating Orlando City 5-0. Atlanta City has a lot of problems. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. Seattle moves up 1-0 with a win. Real Salt Lake 3-2. They got lucky in Atlanta if you watch any of the recap. But neither here nor there. Obviously, we lost this week where we lost 3-0. We bounced back. We're at Toronto this week. We'll see what happens. It's a Saturday game, but to your point, we need to bounce back hard. It can't be a barely won, 1-0 game. We need to put the pressure early and often. we need to really not fuck around.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think, based off social media and things of that nature.
And that's, I mean, what hurts even more is the fact that for the second week in a row, Timo Werner provided points.
Yep.
Flat out, like the highlight reel assist for the win. And again, he was in our organization. He was ours. And we decided to let him go elsewhere. Like, that's what hurts. When you get bitch slapped 3-0 to Montreal, but Timo Werner is carrying San Jose on his back for 2 games.
And I think something to our point, right? We know the growing pains. We get the growing pains. The good part about the growing pains is the fact that we lost 3-0 with a worse lineup. This lineup was not the same lineup that we've had the past 2 games. So, in my opinion, great. You tried something, it didn't work. Let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go back against Toronto, implement that old strategy we had, and if you go back to winning, don't change it.
Yep.
What the top 4 teams do, they never change their lineup. It's the same lineup week in and week out.
Like, and I understand giving Choupo-Moting like his start. He's been through it. He's done his thing. He earns a start, but it wasn't broke. Don't fix it. Mm-hmm. It was great having Moting come in with 60 minutes, 65 minutes into the match and being a menace on the defense after they just chased Hall around. They chased Mehmeti around. They had to deal with Forsberg coming up with stuff on the fly. You had that, and then you brought in Moting to just piss off the defense. Why are we changing it? Why are we starting Moting and bumping Hall back to a wing? Like, stop.
And when we took Mote out and moved Hall back up, it switched the game.
Yep. We
were too far gone at that point, but the momentum of the game and the way that our playing style was a situation where you're like, why weren't we doing this from the beginning?
Yep.
And even if we would have lost 1-0, that's a different conversation than losing 3-0 and Wiki having a brace.
God, I miss Wiki.
You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, let's go back to Orlando City, right? We beat them week 1. They get prison pounded by NYCFC. 5-0. They were literally up 3-0 within the first 10 minutes of the game. First manager to get sacked of the year. 3 games in.
3 games in.
3 games in. The guy doesn't even. I mean, obviously they've lost 3 games in a row. They've given up 8 goals. They have an interim head coach, but man, what I don't know what happened to them over the off season, because obviously we don't give a crap about him. But when you look at his record, he was 110, 75, and 56. It's not awful. Not a lot better than most coaches in a 6-year span, but why now? Why 3 games in? You're losing games by a goal differential of 8. So it's a combination of his tactics, which I get, but also your team just might suck.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I had both said that when we played them.
Yep.
Is our team that good, or does this team really suck?
And I think it sucked that bad.
I think it's a combination of both, but holy crap. 3 games in, you couldn't even get to halfway through the season.
He lasted 3 games. Crosby lasted 3 days on the Ravens. It's a 3 thing.
Man, I think it's going to be interesting. You couldn't give him till the summer break, or you're just going to say we don't want to wait that long because we got to make sure it doesn't get out of control too fast.
Which is also going to be interesting. We didn't talk about that last week, is the fact that the MLS is going to pause for the World Cup. Exactly. That could be huge for teams, or it could be bad for teams. So we'll have to follow that once we get closer. Is it going to help? Is it going to help a team like the Red Bulls, who maybe go on a slide with the young youth movement, and they need that break to kind of rebuild, get it back to center, and reset? We'll see.
And I think it's also something, to your point too, where how many teams have their whole team together, even if though they're on a break? How many of those teams are still together? Because I don't think anybody other than maybe Horvath is going to be on a national team for from the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else is going to get picked. Maybe Emil, maybe Chope. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe. But it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out between now and the World Cup.
Mhm.
But I think hopefully it's a bounce back game for the Red Bulls here on Saturday evening, and we can at least just get back right on the right track.
Yep.
You know,
We'll see.
we shall see. Moving on. Let's get into a little history there, Butchie. What we got going on today?
Let's see. Literally did this right before work ended. So Larry Bird, 1985, set the Celtics franchise record by scoring 60 points against the Atlanta Hawks. What a feat. I mean, that's a heck of a lot better than Bam's 83, but we won't
Let's not
touch
get
on
into that.
that.
Nope, we're not touching that. I don't feel like getting angry tonight.
Jim Thorpe. Here you go, little PA people. Jim Thorpe in 1912 led the Carlisle Indian School football team, defeated West Point 27-6 in a massive upset. For all you Irish people out there,
let's put this up here. Fade Charms, never fade Charms. Charms is the only one hitting parlays. Come on, Nikki.
Yeah. Getting close to St. Paddy's Day, the Irish Rugby Grand Slam. Ireland defeated Wales 5-0 to clinch the Five Nations Triple Crown. Go a little bit of pop culture. March 12th, 1956, The Wizard of Oz made its television debut on CBS. Watched by an estimated 45 million people. Didn't know there was that many people in 1956, but apparently there was. Mamma Mia begins 1975. Let's see. You know I love my birthdays. Liza Minnelli turns 80 today. James Taylor, 78. Will I Am, 51, and Common, 54.
54, damn. I thought he was younger than that.
Yep. Oh, and Aaron Eckhart, don't know if people know him by name. Harvey Dent in the Dark Knight, 58 today.
Oh, he's another one. I didn't expect to be that old.
Yep.
So obviously it says trivia. We are not doing trivia this week. Chris got his ish punched in last week, so we're taking a little break from it this week.
He didn't want to smoke again.
We're going to be back to our normal televised trivia next week. But we are doing a blind ranking. This is going to be a very interesting one because I am not like Chris and I am not very friendly. We are doing sports, and this is going to be good. I hope Nick's still in this. We are doing sports teams and where you would qualify them on best to worst.
No, what's my numbers? 1 to what?
1 to 10. 1 to 10.
Oh.
Yeah, I wasn't letting you off easy. I'm not Chris. All right, and when we say sports teams, it is MLS, MLB, NBA, NFL. Okay? All your top teams are in there.
Oh, of course they are. Why wouldn't they be?
I will give you that clue, okay? Here we go. Number 1, New York Mets.
10.
10. You sure about that?
Yeah, I hate him. Yeah.
10? We're going with 10?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going with 10. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't hate him. Is there college involved in this?
No college. NFL, NBA, MLS, MLB.
Go 7.
Okay, Chiefs number 7. NYCFC.
Oh, hell. if I put them 9, the Bears are going to be in there, and it's going to be force me to take them above them. Eight.
Okay. That's respectable. I don't know how the rest of your list is going to shake out, but
This is going to get bad.
Oh, it is. Denver Nuggets.
Ooh, the Joker. Four.
No hockey on this one, Nikki. Sorry. I'll make it up to you next time, buddy.
No hockey?
No hockey
Crap,
on this
I
one.
based off hockey. Oh, God. Nuggets 4.
4, okay. Green Bay Packers.
1.
Yeah, that one was easy.
Getting that out of the way. There will not be a Chicago Bears number 1 now.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Two. Set me up for failure. Give me good ones in a row.
I am setting you up for failure, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State Warriors. 3, 5, 6, 9.
5.
Okay. Chicago Bears.
There's going to be something that's going to be in my top 5. I don't want it to be.
This is great.
Just get it over with. 9.
I knew that's where you're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
New York Yankees.
There it is.
Nope.
I don't hate them. I don't hate them.
And we're talking about best. 27 rings. Let's put some respect on it, you know?
I don't hate them. Yeah, I'm going to go 3.
Gotta go 3.
For Nick and Kane. Which means number 6 is who?
Inter Miami FC.
Unbelievable.
Oh, God.
Well, they're not in my top 5, so I'm okay.
They're not in your top 5. That's fair. That's fair. Oh,
I would easily take out the Warriors and put the Devils in there.
I could have.
Inter Miami. I could put Stroudsburg High School in there over Inter Miami.
Not to. So let's get on the list. Green Bay Packers, number 1. Philadelphia Phillies, number 2. Yankees, 3. Nuggets, number 4. Warriors, 5. Inter Miami, number 6. Chiefs, 7. NYCFC, 8. Bears, number 9. And the New York Metropolitans, number 10. I will say, Butchie, I'm right with that. I'm right with that. I'm right with that list. I can, do I think you were kind of hard on the Mets? Maybe,
no.
But I hate them too, so it's okay.
No.
I mean, but you should have known the Bears are on this list, man.
Dub has ruined the Mets for me.
That's true. That's definitely
forever.
A fair point.
I mean, he's even made his own fans change their team. Like
it. I mean, I agree. Shout out to Dub. Shout out to our boy Steve. Steve's a huge Mets fan. Him and the Clark boys. They love their Mets. They're the only people that love Mets, though. All right, so let's get into our rants. This show this week will be a little bit quicker than last week because I know how to stay on time, unlike some people. So let's get our rants. Butchie, you are gonna be up here. If I figure this out. I don't know if I'm gonna figure it out. I'm just gonna leave it like this. Butchie, you're up, buddy.
It's fine. I mean, my rant was going to be about our fearless leader not being able to come on the show while he's sick. Man up, suck it up, grab a tissue and a blanket, sit there with your little teddy bear and be on the show. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll shift my anger towards Green Bay Packers. Free agency sucks once again for us as a fan. So much to the fact that Instagram and ESPN have breaking news that all we did was re-sign the guy that played 2 games for us in the last 4 years. But let's make that breaking news for the Packers that we re-signed Brendan Cox Jr. Do you know who that is? Anybody? No. Just because he has a cool name doesn't mean he's good. But of course, we signed him to a 2-year, whatever, $3 million deal. It's a bunch of garbage. You just can't, they just can't get it right. And we don't have a draft pick this year in number 1. We don't have a draft number 1 next year. There's big names out there. You know, Crosby would be a hell of a guy to put next to Parsons. Hendricks would be a hell of a guy to put next to Parsons. But instead, you cleared $108 million of cap space. And what have you done? What are we going to do? I know what's going to happen. They cleared all this space to go sign Brandon Aubrey to a career goddamn NFL kicking contract. We're going to give him $100 million to kick a football. He's going to blow his Achilles out in week 3, and we're going to be screwed again. I don't understand what they do in the GM. Granted, I have ate my words plenty of times before with Gutty with the fact of he doesn't do anything, and then he signs Parsons. So I'm like, oh, I guess he doesn't suck that bad. But here we are, free agency, and I'm watching other teams sign players, and I'm watching Green Bay re-sign people. We let our all-pro tackle go, Ellington Jenkins. Bye-bye to him. Romeo Dobbs, granted, he wasn't worth $70 million. So if he went to the Patriots because we didn't offer him that, well, go collect your paycheck. That's fine. We let Emmanuel Wilson go, the backup to Josh Jacobs, who carried the running attack. We haven't re-signed him, but yet we keep Chris Brooks around, who hasn't even played in an NFL game regular season because he gets hurt stretching every goddamn year since we drafted him. I don't understand it, but we'll see. Maybe Gutty and LaFleur will hear this. Call me up since I'm a part owner of the team. Give me a call. I'll help you make some picks.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I'm 100% on board with everything you just said.
The owner's chat is pissed about it. It's annoying.
Yeah, I think they definitely need to figure out what they're doing. Again, why did we create all this cap space if we weren't going to use
it? To sign Sky Moore because he averages 11 yards a punt return. Bravo. That's a great signing. Why don't we get Devin Hester out of the retirement home and sign him?
Not only that, but we did that after doing everything we did during the offseason with Bo Melton.
Yep.
And we re-signed Bo.
We did. We re-signed him.
All right. So my rant this week is about tournament times. Okay. I think that when we're looking at it, I love the fact that we have some early games. They changed it. We have some 11:30 games. We have some noon games. It's makes work a little bit unproductive, but I love it, right? You're able to watch games while you're working. It's been great. I loathe 11 o'clock games. I hate it, right? We do a podcast based on sports, and we literally have to stay up and watch some of these games. And we're sitting here like, why are we still watching this game? And some of them suck. Some of them are good. But I hate the fact that, we have to stay up to watch some like Utah Tech, right? Shout out to Chris. That you have to sit up, watch the game at 11:30 at night to hope that there's something we talk about there. Or in this case, hopefully bet on. But I'm just over these times. I think that they do a great job during the tournament of really starting at noon and going. But why not start at 10? Last game starts at 8:30. Like, come on, people are going to come. I promise you. Talked about it with the Super Bowl. Just put it out there and people will come. People are going to watch. People want to watch NCAA basketball. But let's really figure out how we can make it more attainable for normal working folk to be able to stay up and watch these games. Because it sucks when you have to stay up and watch your team who normally plays on the East Coast have to play in the West at 11 o'clock at night, and you have to hope and watch and pray that they kick butt. Shout out to our boy Nick. People will come, Ray. Butchie, any comment on that?
No, I mean it's being Formula One fans, you know as well as I do. Times suck. Like It is what it is. It's next weekend when we're in AC, we'll love the fact that the games are being played all day.
100%. We will be stuck at the sports book. We're not going to say which one. We'll be stuck at the sports book next week, watching games over and over.
Terrible. Feel bad for us.
Making crazy bets on these outlandish games, but it'll definitely be worth it. Let's get into last thing for the day. Let's get into our parlay. I do have Chris's pick here. Chris, just a foreshadow, he picked Utah Tech tonight, 11:30, -1.5 against Albany Christian. Butchie, who do you have?
I'm taking Manchester United. Money line.
Shout out Bardo. Shout out Kane. Shout out Charms. I think it's a good one. I kind of like that one. I am going with the safe pick, in my opinion. Wisconsin +8.5 tomorrow, 2:30 against Illinois. All right, on a $100 bet, that's $505.53. So it's a +505 bet on that. I think we'll be all right. I think that's going to be a good bet for us. But yeah, shout out to everybody. Please, anybody, that are watching, like and subscribe. Go on the Patreon. We have a Patreon for the website for KLTV. It is everything on here is youtube.kaju live. For the Patreon, it's patreon.com/CW/KLTV. Please join, $5 a month. Definitely worth it. You can become a producer. You can kind of throw in your little 2 cents of what we want to talk about for the week. You can let us know what you want to see a little bit more content of, us being able to dive deep into different topics that you may like for the week, anything that you see coming up, we can help out with. We will start to have more guests like we did last week with Square Table Mike. You will see a couple more probably next week. You'll definitely see more in the future coming up. Hopefully next week our fearless leader is back from being sick. Who knows? He doesn't want to lose a trivia again. That's my take. I don't know about Butch. That's my take. He lost trivia and said, "Oh no, I got to take a week off, boys."
He got that ass whipping, and he stayed home. He stayed home.
Took his ball and said, "No, I'm good. I'm good."
Yeah. He was Lando Norris. So people, send your love and respect to Chris. Get him through this hard time. He doesn't know what it's like to get. Actually, he's a Jets fan, Nets fan. He knows what it's like to get his ass kicked. And then help my partner here go viral. Maybe he can get a hat like me. Support the Square Table. If not, he's just gonna keep wearing Phillies hats. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Please, every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout for us on all social network platforms. We are at Last Leg Parlays on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You'll find me at Charvette Mike on Instagram, on Twitter. Butch, LLP Butch. You'll find him, anything that's tagged on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. For anything you may need, follow us on there, and we will see you next week, folks.
Go High Point University.